Greetings, I'm your host, Dr. Wolfula, with a review of the highly controversial new video game Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League. But the more accurate title should be Rocksteady Kills the Arkhamverse.
Are we done with your bad stand-up routine?
Now, before I move on, you might be wondering, Doc, when are you gonna get back on camera in the flesh with a big horror movie review? Patience, I got a big horror review planned featuring the real me coming soon, but in the meantime, I played and beat this new Suicide Squad game, and I just had to fucking talk about it. I wasn't planning to make this, but it just ended up happening, like a lot of your births. I suffered through playing this game, and I want you all to suffer along with me. Is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League really a bad game? Well, let's just say that when I played it, I often thought about doing something in the title of the game, and I'm not talking about forming a squad or killing the Justice League.
I'd kill anyone to get out of here. I'd kill you. I'd kill myself.
Nobody's killing anybody.
This game is a big pile of shit.
Ah, shit!
But I might have undergone some level of Stockholm Syndrome because even though I thought the game sucked ass, I kept playing it and felt like I was having some fun. It's hard to really describe.
Hey, Suicide Squad! Fuck you!
I should start by saying that Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League was developed by Rocksteady Studios, the London-based game developer who gave us the Batman Arkham Trilogy of games, and if you've seen my live streams of those games, you'll know that they're among my favorite games of all time. Some of my most replayed ever. I really enjoyed Insomniac's Spider-Man games, but Rocksteady's Batman games are to me the pinnacle of superhero gameplay, from the combat, to the stealth, to the level design, atmosphere, story, voice acting, the list goes on. They're great games, and the only reason I bought this new Suicide Squad game was out of misguided hope that Rocksteady would give me another DC video game that has at least a tiny sliver of what made their Batman games so fucking great. And they couldn't even do that.
I need more therapy.
Rocksteady hasn't released a game in nearly a decade, so this Suicide Squad game really didn't have a lot of room to suck. If a game of this caliber came out a couple years after Arkham Knight, okay, it'd be disappointing, but Rocksteady could bounce back from it. But waiting nearly a decade for Rocksteady to make this game of all the games they could have spent this time making instead, it's gonna be almost impossible to recover from this debacle. And the worst part about all of this is that it was like watching a car crash happen in slow motion. I could tell this game was probably going to suck years in advance when so much time was passing in silence. And then it became revealed that Rocksteady's new game wouldn't be something like a Superman game, but instead a multiplayer Suicide Squad game. And then eventually it was revealed that it'd be a live service online game. And then it was revealed it would be another fucking video game about Superman and the other DC superheroes becoming evil, but this time in the beloved universe the Batman Arkham games existed in. And then, of course, the first gameplay was revealed, showcasing the game as what it is: a generic Fortnite-esque co-op looter shooter with DC Comics characters.
Guys, this one won't die already!
It's reminiscent of that Avengers game that died a few years after its release, but it also reminded me of that dead online Batman shooter from over a decade ago, Gotham City Imposters. Just a misguided attempt to cash in on shooters like Team Fortress by cynically putting a Batman coat of paint on top of a mediocre game. But it was acceptable with something like Gotham City Imposters because that kind of game is so disposable. But Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is a game made by fucking Rocksteady, the studio that took comic book games to another level. It's natural to expect so much more from them than this. Where did everything go so wrong? I'll explain how in my review of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. But first I have a message from my sponsor, me. Pledge to my Patreon today to support the channel, help it continue to grow, and you'll also get access to weekly movie nights every Sunday, and archive commentaries if you miss the movie nights live. Just $5 a month to get a movie night every week. Here's the movie I'll be streaming next Sunday. Pledge to patreon.com/Dr. Wolfula if you're interested, and I thank you in advance.
So, figure out who we're killing yet? Oh, fuck!
What's so wrong with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League? Well, I'll start with the story. The story is just an afterthought, a total joke. If you know anything about Suicide Squad, this should sound familiar. 5 years after the events of Arkham Knight, Amanda Waller, played by Deborah Wilson of Mad TV fame, the head of a secret government agency, approaches 4 incarcerated supercriminals, Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Captain Boomerang, and King Shark, to organize a team known as Task Force X, aka the Suicide Squad, and force them to take on a difficult assignment.
Welcome to Task Force X.
Well, the Suicide Squad is assigned a mission they're told nothing about in advance, and it quickly turns out that their mission is to save the world from an alien invasion in Superman's hometown of Metropolis, where all of the citizens have been transformed into purple aliens.
Looks bad, feels worse. But once you've been enhanced, there's no going back.
Which, you know, you'd think would involve at least a little bit of intel in advance.
Oi, Waller, what the hell have you sent us into? It's a bloody war zone out here.
You're the first assets to make it into Metropolis alive.
The invasion is orchestrated by classic Superman villain Brainiac, but we never meet Brainiac himself until the last hour or two of the campaign, and honestly, this whole invasion plot just feels really half-baked, because we start in the middle of it already happening, and we just have to piece together the details of how it went down through background lore and a comic tie-in. It's a lot to take in a short span of time, and it really doesn't make any fucking sense how a job this big falls upon what is essentially a group of B and C tier loser supervillains who are untested as a team.
We are all losers.
Especially when part of their task is to kill the Justice League, who have become mind-controlled by Brainiac sans Wonder Woman.
Your new mission is to kill the Justice League.
We've got no chance.
And yes, Arkham Batman is among Brainiac's brainwashed, voiced again by the late, great Kevin Conroy of Batman the Animated Series fame. And if you know anything about the ending of Batman Arkham Knight, you know how stupid this is. At the end of Arkham Batman's last appearance, his identity is compromised by Scarecrow, so Batman fakes his death and returns as a demonic bat prowling Gotham streets, getting criminals high on fear gas. It wasn't a great ending, but it was still an ending that you couldn't easily take back like it was nothing. But that's exactly what Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League does. It's just revealed in a lore-dump museum cardboard cutout that Superman meets Batman and convinces the Cape Crusader to move to Metropolis and join the Justice League.
They asked Batman to join the Justice League. He accepted.
Which is a huge stretch and makes no sense story-wise, but that's the running theme of this game's writing. It just doesn't make any fucking sense. All of the creative choices made for this game are just to facilitate the live service model, the marketing, and the played-out premise.
Let their corpses strike fear into those who'd resist.
There isn't much point in bringing Arkham Batman back either, beyond hearing Kevin Conroy again. Batman's role for most of the game is hearing him make announcements during battles.
You'll never win, but I'm going to relish in watching you fail.
Just a serious waste of Kevin Conroy's talents towards the end of his life when they could have given him a much better game instead. But Conroy's performance as an evil Batman is great, and he delivers a different, more sinister take on the voice.
Integration or the other way?
Alive. Brainiac has questions for Luthor.
I'll get into the more spoilery particulars of the game's story later, but I will say that this game is poorly written from top to bottom. The story is insultingly stupid, but when you really get down to it, the story is just a series of tutorials introducing you to the types of missions on offer, and trying to get you hooked onto the gameplay loop out of the hope that you'll stick around long term and spend money on the game's live service store. The story of this game just straight up doesn't fucking matter, it's just a means to an end. It feels like it's here because they knew they'd get bashed for not having any story at all that could be played single player, so they ended up putting the least amount of effort possible into a story and ended up getting bashed anyway, because it fucking sucks, and the way it tries to connect itself to the previous Arkham games are not only lazy but wildly inconsistent.
Sleight of hand. Touch the bone bit.
A bad story is one thing, of course, but the bad writing extends to the characters and dialogue as well. The main cast of characters you can play as just suck. They don't have any chemistry together, and it doesn't feel like they grow as characters or bond together. Their dialogue is frequently obnoxious attempts at cringy, quippy MCU humor.
Lots of ins and outs to that rumble you didn't see, Missy.
Missy? Nah, I'm not one of your incognito browser searches.
And I had no emotional investment in the characters, mostly because I barely feel like I got to know these versions of the characters.
My sidekick's got something to prove now that the boyfriend's dead.
Sidekick? Oh, honey.
Harley Quinn is suddenly a totally different character from who she was in the previous Batman games.
Every gal has a phase they regret.
Retconned into having long hated the Joker, even though she was still obsessed with the dude after his death.
So you do remember me. That's weird, because you killed the only thing I ever loved.
There could have been an interesting story here where she moves on from the Joker finally and steps out of his shadow, but that's already come to pass before the game begins, and you just have to accept it.
Makes sense Waller would want the world's deadliest assassin in her pocket. I don't know what she wants the rest of you for.
Deadshot has a daughter, but we barely get into that part of his story. The game is more fixated on pointing out that the Arkham Deadshot used to be a white guy.
Isn't Deadshot supposed to be white?
What a weird character trait. Captain Boomerang is just kind of an annoying, stupid dickhead, so I guess I have a bit in common with him.
Yeah, looking forward to killing the Justice League and all, but, well, you know, these guns are a bit shit.
And Killer Shark is just a shark version of Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy, a stoic character who takes everything literally.
Didn't you hear? We're out on good behavior.
We are not.
And that's not the only thing from Guardians of the Galaxy that this game rips off. Poison Ivy sacrificed herself to save Gotham and Arkham Knight, and she's brought back to life as a little Greta Thunberg kid like Baby Groot from the first Guardians flick.
They're poisoning the earth with their gross bodies, so I lured them here.
It's just so unnecessary and takes all the weight out of Ivy's sacrifice in the last game. But it's also kind of weird taking a character who is so heavily sexualized, so caked up, and then turning her into a kid. I don't know, it's just weird.
Oh, I just want to smush those little green cheeks.
Other returning Arkham characters like Penguin or Aaron Cash are just relegated to support roles, anthropomorphizing the gameplay mechanics.
Without that clown around, you just might be something. This is for you.
And Rick Flag, the OG Suicide Squad member, is relegated to driving a battle bus for certain missions.
Okay, everybody, debrief and make your way to medical.
Again, the story and characters don't fucking matter in this game. Also, to show that this is a Rocksteady game, the Riddler returns with Riddler trophies during an alien invasion for some reason.
Thrill it is, delight your touch. You want some fun? Give this a shot.
Also, the Riddler has challenges, but they're just timed platforming challenges. And you can tell that this game was definitely influenced by Superman 64. Solve the Riddler's maze!
Then there's no time to waste.
Just let me know if this one's too hard. It'll be a great laugh.
Ultimately, what does matter in this game is shooting purple aliens on rooftops and absorbing colorful loot. And you might be wondering, well, if I don't care about the writing of the game, the worst part of the game, will the gameplay still satisfy me? Well, maybe. The game is intended to be played online, but I never touched that. I'm more of a single-player guy, and you can play the game single-player with the caveat that it's always online single-player, meaning you have to log into Warner Brothers servers every time you start the game, and your save file is located on their servers, which also means sometimes the servers will be down and you just can't fucking play, even if you're playing single player. Rocksteady's announced that they'll be making an offline mode, which they'll have to do anyway, seeing as how this game's servers will be probably taken down in a year or two. Once you get past the tutorial that has no bearing on the actual plot, you're free to wander around an open-world metropolis as one of the 4 currently playable characters, and if you're doing single player, you can switch between them at any time. Harley Quinn, Deadshot, King Shark, and Captain Boomerang. This is a third-person shooter, so they all play essentially the same way. They all just shoot things with guns. Even a guy with Boomerang in his name and a giant shark monster primarily use guns. The differences between the characters come down to the weapons they can equip, their movement, their melee attacks, and the biggest difference of all, their traversal method, how they travel around Metropolis, how they can get airborne in combat. Harley Quinn uses a stolen bat grapple and bat drone to swing around. Deadshot uses a jetpack, pretty straightforward. Captain Boomerang has a Speed Force gauntlet to zip around, and King Shark can just naturally jump high. I main Harley Quinn just because her traversal feels the most like playing a Batman or Spider-Man game, just a lot slower and more limited.
Drop it like I'm hot!
But I've adjusted to it, and I also main Harley Quinn because it means I get to look at a chick's ass for the whole game. Harley Quinn had some better asses in the previous games, but it's still at the end of the day a woman's ass, and not a middle-aged man or a shark ass.
You won't get away with this!
As for the combat, well, it's a far cry from the Arkham series in the sense that I guess it plays more like Far Cry. The free-flow combat in the Arkham games was a well-oiled machine. It captured the brutality of Batman, but it was also a fast, versatile, and precise combat system. Batman doesn't just kick ass, he efficiently kicks ass. The third-person shooter combat in Suicide Squad, in comparison, is fast, but also frantic and sloppy. Visually, it's much more of a mess. It's just all over the place, but it works well enough.
Shield drive! Give generously!
A lot of the combat is just shooting, but the monotony is broken up in a number of ways by tossing grenades, using melee attacks to break enemy armor and launch them in the air, shoot guys in the knees and you can use melee attacks to absorb their armor, you can counter enemies before some of their attacks with a special prompt, and there are special attacks that can take down one or a group of enemies. There are afflictions you can inflict through melee attacks and grenades that can freeze groups of enemies or make them go crazy and attack each other. Gizmo will also periodically send you a hover tank to pilot, but it'll only work for like a minute before blowing up. What kind of fucking moron makes a tank that only works for a minute?
No goddamn way I'm getting in one of those.
The combat of Suicide Squad reminds me of playing the Doom reboot, but third person, not as satisfying or as gory, but it works okay and it's fun for a time. The game gets really repetitive though. Missions will have some twists like rescuing scientists and taking them to Rick Flag's battle bus, or protecting a battle bus, or destroying alien incubators, but it all ultimately comes down to shooting purple aliens on top of rooftops over and over again. There isn't much in the way of enemy variety beyond the regular mooks. There are bigger mooks, fast mooks, sniper mooks, tanks, and helicopters, but that's basically it. This game is highly repetitive, but admittedly, so are a lot of games. You do one thing in Tetris and that game is addictive as hell, and yeah, even though Suicide Squad is a mediocre game, I still found its gameplay loop addictive just by mindlessly shooting shit and collecting loot, leveling my character, and upgrading my loadout.
Running with guns, you need a good gun runner.
I will say customizing character appearances leaves a lot to be desired. A lot of skins are paywalled behind the game's microtransaction store, and the skins you can unlock in the game can't be mixed and matched. So if you like a hairstyle on one skin and a costume of another, they can't be combined, which is a fucking bummer. The game's microtransaction shop is also a fucking bummer. $70 games should not be live service. That's the bottom line. Your game is free? Okay, you can have microtransactions. Otherwise, get the fuck out of here with this shit. I will say that at least the only things you can buy are just cosmetics. Skins, emotes, banners, stuff that doesn't affect the gameplay. So this isn't a pay-to-win game. Still though, one skin can cost over $10 in this game. One emote can cost $5. It's one fucking animation. You can buy so many great classic games on sale for the price of cosmetics in this game. Then you look at something like Insomniac's recent Spider-Man 2, that's also $70, and that game comes with dozens of unlockable free skins that look so much better than the ones in this game you need to actually pay for. It's just sad that greed so often comes before player satisfaction now. These companies are so blinded by greed that they fail to realize that making players happy means good word of mouth and more people buying their game. Long-term sales as opposed to a short-term cash grab.
I was thinking something more fashion-forward.
Oh well. I'll also say visually the game is a mixed bag. Cutscenes are pretty well performed and animated. There are these subtle facial expressions on the characters that make them feel lifelike. And the game is graphically high fidelity with detailed environments and a massive world with very little pop-in. But the actual art design of the game, especially compared to the iconic Arkham games that were authentic to Batman's world, well, art design-wise, Suicide Squad looks like shit. Everything just looks ugly, stupid, and generic, especially character designs. The crumbling city of Metropolis doesn't feel like a realistic city. Sometimes it feels like I'm in an apocalyptic version of a Rocko's Modern Life episode. It's a visual hodgepodge. The city is also massive, which, given how slow the traversal is, makes navigating around it a pain in the ass. The size of the map and the fact that Brainiac is the villain makes me think that this was probably supposed to be a Superman game, but then they just recycled what they worked on into a live service Suicide Squad game. A Superman game that takes place in Metropolis during an alien invasion would have been so fucking cool, though. Games can't be fucking cool now, though. If a game is fucking cool, it won't make money.
One of the world's finest heroes. Snuffed out by this.
And you're next, asshole.
I also must note that I played this game on PC, and I keep getting burned on recent PC releases. I have a pretty high-end PC with a 4070 Ti GPU, an AMD 5900 CPU, and 32GB of RAM, but no matter what quality I set the game to, it consistently fluctuates wildly between 50 to 80 FPS. The game only uses half of my GPU's power, so it seems like this game is either CPU-bound or has a memory leak, but the bottom line is that it's just not optimized for PCs. I shouldn't get almost identical performance on the highest and lowest settings in the game, and there's still no official word on a performance patch. The game is also mired by traversal stutter on PC, so even if I got a consistent frame rate, I still had a frequent FPS drop that took me out of the game.
Kryptonite's making a dent. Just gotta make a couple hundred more.
Getting back into the game in general itself, though, and spoilers, well, it is about killing the Justice League, so there are a few boss battles in the game where you do just that, exploiting the weaknesses of each brainwashed League member, except Wonder Woman, who has plot armor.
This is a hall for heroes, not you.
The boss battles are a change of pace, but they're nothing special. They all come down to being in a big arena where you counter their attacks and shoot them until their massive health bars are whittled down into nothing. The game is weird in how it handles killing the Justice League because it's treated as impossible initially, a suicide mission.
Taking these guys on is suicide. We agreed?
But it turns out to be pretty easy to kill the Justice League, and when these low-tier villains manage to kill an iconic hero, it's shrugged off like it was nothing, like it was a small effort.
I'm not gonna make a big deal of it.
Oh, thanks.
Even when you kill Superman, who barely has any role or dialogue in the game, nobody really cares all that much afterward except for Lois Lane and her frequent billboard announcements that play throughout the city.
Superman is dead. Once the guiding light of the Justice League, Superman's legacy was shattered by the events of the past few weeks.
Batman does get it the worst out of this game as a legacy character in the context of the game's universe. His boss battle is the simplest and easiest, and he's shot in the face unceremoniously in a cutscene with the declaration that he did more harm than good for Gotham.
Causing long-term mental and emotional damage to everyone you knew.
Retroactively shitting on the classic Arkham games and the adventures you went on as this version of the character.
Time for us bad guys to save the world.
The game ends with a post-credit scene that tries to honor Kevin Conroy as Batman, but the whole game up to this point was shitting on him. It's just weird.
Everyone knew him. Everyone knew his voice.
It feels like the Suicide Squad game was written by cynical, jaded people who hated having the pressure of living up to the legacy of the Arkham games, so they decided to try to destroy that legacy.
Gosh, he's really heavy.
The game also just feels like it was written by people with a surface-level understanding of the superhero lore they inherited. Like, when Green Lantern dies, King Shark just puts the power ring on and is able to intuitively use the ring's power like it's nothing. But it doesn't work like that. A Green Lantern dies, the ring finds a new owner. And you're telling me the planet Oa isn't going to do something about one of their lanterns going rogue during an alien invasion? There's no logic to this game's writing at all. It's all just either shock value for shock value's sake, or treated as a joke.
Would you look at that? He did have a heart. Catch!
Oh, yuck!
When you kill a member of the Justice League, which should be a major moment, Captain Boomerang keeps trying to ruin it by pulling an R. Kelly and pissing on their corpses.
But show a little class, man.
Isn't that funny? Isn't that fucking funny?
The fastest man alive! according to all these girlfriends.
The game's gimmick is about killing the Justice League, but that isn't really what the game is about, and it tries to sweep that to the side as soon as it can once you kill Superman. When you beat Superman, all illusion of story evaporates and the game becomes live service hell, where now you have to kill Brainiac, but not just one Brainiac, you have to kill multiple Brainiacs across the multiverse over the course of an ongoing series of free DLC seasons yet to be released.
How did you defeat my Justice League?
At launch, this game has no ending. You can't beat the final Brainiac. You're just expected to keep fighting him for years in the hope a final DLC comes out, grinding through an unending series of missions in Metropolis in the meantime. They can't just end a game now, they need to keep you on the hook and hopefully buying DLC characters and skins. It sucks ass.
I will unlock your full potential to serve me.
I will say though that they could have easily fixed one of the biggest flaws in their game by making Batman the one Justice League member not brainwashed instead of Wonder Woman. He's a character we already know from the previous game, and he doesn't have superpowers. Meanwhile, we barely get to know this version of Diana. Batman's whole thing is creating contingency plans for taking out the League anyway, and Batman could have been the one who sacrifices himself heroically facing Superman instead of Wonder Woman, who is, again, a character we barely know within this game's story. Having Batman heroically sacrifice himself would have been a more powerful moment, raised the stakes, and would have been respectful to Kevin Conroy's 30-year tenure as Batman, and would have given Arkham Batman a proper death. It's too late to fix the game's story though, unfortunately. It's not too late to fix the game's gameplay flaws, though I doubt they'll fix anything about this game, and I kinda doubt they'll release all the season DLCs they have planned. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League supposedly isn't selling well, it doesn't have very high player numbers, and it also isn't generally well liked, so it might end up like the Avengers live service game before it. The servers will be taken offline and the game will be delisted, removed from sale, which is a shame because it could mean the demise of Rocksteady. You can't take a decade off from releasing games and then release a flop. But at the same time, many of the creative leads that made Rocksteady's best games no longer work at the company, which is evident in how wildly different Suicide Squad is from their previous games. But still, a game developer going out of business is never a good thing because it means hundreds losing their jobs. I just hope that this new iteration of Rocksteady learns from the mistakes of this game and tries to recapture the spark that made their previous games so great. I mean, I did have some fun with this game. It's at least a sign that they can be redeemed. I give Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League a Suicide Squad Harley Quinn ass out of Arkham Knight Harley Quinn ass. Speaking of gaming, I want to plug my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Dr. Wolfula, where I'll be streaming movies at the Die-In Theater and also playing games like this Suicide Squad game. Follow me on Twitch by clicking this card or the link in the description. This video is made possible through the pledges of my Patreon supporters, and I'd like to give a very special thanks to the kind folks pledged to my shoutouts tier. All of the support on Patreon means a lot to me, and it helps my dark influence continue to grow. If you like this video, like it, and if you loved it, click the subscribe and bell buttons for more vids. Be sure to also keep in touch by following me on social media at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dr. Wolfula. While I still have your attention, consider pledging to my Patreon to support the channel and get bonus content like previews, VIP Discord server access, private movie night streams, and credits in videos. Consider pledging at patreon.com/Dr. Wolfula. Also, check out official Dr. Wolfula t-shirts and other merch on tpublic.com/user/Dr. Wolfula. Thanks for watching. See you all next time. Dr. Wolfula signing out.